Ask ChatGPT about your business and it'll be lovely about you. But don't get too excited. It knows it's you that's asking. But today I'm going to show you a free tool that helps you see what your customers actually see. So we know that the buyer journey has changed. People are talking to AI tools like ChatGPT about your brand, products and service, in many cases before they even hit your website. They're asking tools like Gemini questions like this, comparing your brand against your competitors. And maybe if you've been following our other videos, you are being featured here. But the AI tool is describing your brand in a single sentence, and that sentence can define whether or not someone actually buys from you or not. And AI tools like ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity and Grok are really good at presenting opinions as facts. Like, is Hasselblad worth the money? The answer is usually no. So these AI tools are presenting their opinions to your potential customers. The problem is, most of the time, you don't have any idea what that opinion actually is. But to make things even more difficult, there are multiple platforms. And each platform is non-deterministic, meaning the answer it gives is different every time. This means you've got potentially hundreds of shifting verdicts daily across each of these platforms. And if you're trying to keep on top of this manually to understand what AI is saying about your brand, this is a huge task. It can be really difficult to spot the patterns between all of these different verdicts, but those patterns could be costing you customers that you never knew you'd missed. So what do you do? Well, until recently, you really only had two options. Either you could do this yourself, opening ChatGPT and asking it about your brand, then opening Perplexity and asking it about your brand, doing the same with Gemini, doing the same with Grok, etc., etc. And doing this in lots of different ways every day. The trouble is doing one search on each of these platforms, because they're non-deterministic, means that they're not necessarily representative of the answer that you'll get every time. So you might need to ask every day or in loads of different ways, and that's a massive time drain. The trouble is, we've also seen that most of these tools have memory, so they will lie to you. You think that the AI loves you, the customer gets a very different response. The other option is using one of the range of enterprise AI search tools, the tools that we absolutely love and use all the time on this channel, like Profound, Peec, and Semrush's AI Visibility Toolkit. But most of these tools are priced for enterprise. They are really not cheap. And in many cases, they come with a lot of functionality that someone who just wants to know what these AI tools are saying about their brand doesn't really need. There's also a fairly steep learning curve with them. And this is why we at Exposure Ninja have built a new free tool called Mind My Brand. It helps you see exactly what these AI tools are saying about your brand. And it's super easy to use. You just stick your website in, press that button, and it goes to work. It queries each of these 4 platforms and it interrogates them to see what they know about your brand. And these are clean sessions with no memory of you. So it's a lot more accurate than doing this yourself. So let me show you what a Mind My Brand report actually looks like. Here we've done one for one of our brands, Elite Renewables. So you can choose to go between different AI tools. So here I'm looking at the ChatGPT results, but I can switch to other results as well. I can also compare different models. We're going to come back to that a bit later on. At the top, it's going to tell you broadly what this AI tool thinks about your brand's sentiment. In this case, I'm very happy to see that there is a positive sentiment. You then get a little bit more detail, breaks it down into sections. For example, the tone that your brand has, so how your brand talks online, the price point that you sit at, and the explanation behind that price point. One of the features that people love the most is a celebrity match. This is where it identifies a celebrity that has the most similar perception to your brand. It can be a really nice way of simply understanding, okay, this is what ChatGPT thinks of my brand. It thinks of me in a similar sort of level to Kevin McLeod. I'd take that. You've got some top descriptors here, and then we get into brand performance scores. This is where it scores you against various different criteria. It'll show you what you're strongest at. So in Elite's case, the customer focus is really strong. We've got 8 out of 10, but it says that we need focus on innovation. Now that's kind of interesting because actually Elite is quite innovative, but clearly we haven't done a good enough job of publishing information online that positions us as innovative. So I now have a takeaway that I can go and address in our content marketing. It even gives you feedback on your brand descriptors, both language cues and visual cues. So it has a visual look at your website and describes your visual brand identity. In Elite's case, blue and white palette, clean typography, installation photography. So it actually gets the AI tool to have a look at your website and describe your brand visually. And this is a great way to see if your brand's style guidelines are actually being translated into how these AI tools are seeing you. Many brands have a mission statement and a set of values, and often this is stuck on a wall somewhere. But does it actually translate to what customers and AI tools see about your business? Well, this section helps you see if there's a gap between your stated mission and values and what these AI tools think your mission and values actually are. We've got detail about the products and services that you sell, really helpful if you want to make sure that the AI tools aren't missing anything. And then we've got some key competitors. As you can see, this is a really in-depth audit of what the AI tools think about your brand, from strengths and weaknesses. The Mind My Brand reports don't just give you a bunch of info to make you feel good. This tool is designed to help you identify gaps that you can plug in order to boost your brand's credibility and perception online. So for example, here we've got most detailed claims are self-published rather than widely independently validated. That's something that I wouldn't have picked up myself if I was evaluating our brand, and it's something that I wouldn't have picked up if I had gone to ChatGPT and asked it about what I knew. The only reason that surfaced is that Mind My Brand uses a whole bunch of prompts behind the scenes on each of these different platforms to try and find the areas that you might be weakest. And every time I've used this report, it surfaced things that I wouldn't have spotted were I trying to do it the old manual way. So Mind My Brand is super useful if you want to check to make sure that the AI tools are talking about you in the right way and they understand, for example, who your target audience is, what your identity is about, who the key people are in the business, and any additional insights. Of course, each of the different AI tools works slightly differently and prioritizes different sources and has a different set of internal knowledge. So you can see how they compare across each of the different categories. The consensus analysis is the most reliable threads that run through all of their responses. So with Mind My Brand, you get an accurate picture of how these AI tools actually see your brand. This then allows you to address any issues and plug any gaps through the content that you publish on your website and also the content that you get published on other people's sites. If you want some help actioning some of the recommendations from Mind My Brand, then you can request an AI search audit from the team here at Exposure Ninja, and one of our humans will dig into the results from Mind My Brand as well as some of their own insight to put together a full AI search plan for you. But right now, the next thing that you want to do is go over to Mind My Brand, stick in your details and click Start Mining and learn what these AI tools are actually saying about your brand.